GuitarLessons.com, the #1 name in guitar lessons online.
Welcome to GuitarLessons.com. I'm Nate Savage. In this lesson, I'm just going to share with you some common chord progressions that you're going to see over and over again in pop music, jazz, and even rock. So let's get started with the basic 1-4-5 progression, and we'll do it in the key of G. I'll try to use chords that you're probably familiar with, so you can go ahead and play them right away. So play G bar chord on your 3rd fret. You're going to move to the 4 chord, which is a C. We're going to use this bar chord shape, same bar on the same fret. Move that up 2 frets to the 5 chord, which is a D. Then go back to the 1, the G. You don't have to play it like this. You can play it with open chords as well. So you have a G, C, D, back to C, and G again. Now you can take this pattern or progression, move it around to whatever key you want, as long as you pick a major chord to start on, and then 2 other major chords, the 1, 4, and the 5, it's going to work no matter what key you're in. The next progression we're going to work with is a 2-5-1 progression. And let's say we're in the key of G again. We're going to start on the 2 chord this time. So if we have the G as a 1, then an A minor chord is going to be our 2 chord. For the 5 chord, just like in the other example we just did, it's going to be a D chord. And then back to the 1, the G. So in context, it may sound something like this. You hear a lot of progressions like that in jazz and pop music, maybe even some rock stuff too. Now an extension of a 2-5-1 progression is a 3-6-2-5-1. And to do that, all we have to do is count up 3 from G, which is G, A, B. Make a minor chord based on that scale degree. It's a B minor. It's our 3. Then we want a 6 chord. From our G is 1, G, A, B, C, D, E. E would be our 6. So let's make an E minor chord using this shape right here. Then we can use our 2-5-1 that we just learned to finish it off. So A minor, D, G. So the whole thing in context would sound something like this. Next chord progression we're going to do is a 1-5-6-4 progression, and we're going to stay in the same key, the key of G. So if we have G, we're going to go to our 5 chord, which by now hopefully you're starting to recognize as D. We're going to go up to a 6, an E minor chord, and then all the way down to a 4, our C chord. You'll probably hear a lot of this in a lot of songs in a lot of different styles. So the next chord progression we're going to work with is a 1, flat 7, and then a 4. So if we have our G chord, that's going to be our 1. And our 7 of G is normally an F sharp, but in this case we're going to flat the 7th, and instead of being a half diminished chord like an F sharp usually is, we're going to make the F, the flat 7th, just a regular major chord. Once we have that flat 7th in there, we're going to go up to the 4 and back to the 1. So 1, flat 7, 4, 1. Okay, the last progression we're going to be working with in this lesson is a minor blues progression. So let's switch gears a little bit and work in the key of E minor. And playing a regular E minor chord, and we're going to do a 1, 4, 5 progression in the key of E minor. So if we have our E minor, that's our 1. If we go to our 4 chord, which is an A minor, that'll cover our 4. And then our 5 chord in the key of E minor is just going to be a B7 chord. We can use just a B major chord. Then back to the 1. So this is a typical minor blues progression. So those are some chord progressions that you're going to see repeated over and over again in all types of music. Now, it's not important here that you do a lot of flashy inversions or voicings for your chords, but the idea is to understand how chord progressions work and what chords you have to choose from when you're thinking about certain keys.